What if I told you that 2026 is the first year in history where cruise ships can reach places that were once considered impossible? Ice deserts, futuristic megacities, secret tropical islands, even mysterious waters glowing under the moonlight. Today, we're counting down the 7 best cruise routes of 2026 ranked by scenery, uniqueness, and pure, I can't believe this is real moments. But be ready. Number 2 isn't just surprising. It feels like traveling into the future. Let's begin. The Arctic Circle Ice Frontier Expedition. This route is unlike anything traditional cruises offer. In 2026, new hybrid propulsion expedition ships glide through polar waters with almost no noise. Wildlife barely senses the ship approaching. Hulls are ice strengthened, stabilizers reduce roll, and heated outdoor decks keep you on the rail even when the wind bites. You sail past giant walls of ice like frozen mountains, watch cathedral-sized icebergs drift in deep blue water, and experience 24-hour daylight in summer, a sun that circles the horizon, painting everything gold at 2 a.m. Passengers witness polar bears hunting across drifting ice. Massive glaciers cracking and collapsing, the echo rolls like thunder. Endless fjords glowing under honeyed Arctic light. Optional landings bring you to beaches stamped with fresh paw prints, and zodiacs skim past sculpted ice arches so blue they look backlit. Naturalists point out narwhal tusks glinting in the swell and Arctic foxes ghosting along the shore. Yes, you actually cross the Arctic Circle, marked with a deck ceremony, steaming mugs of glögg, and a 360-degree panorama that feels like standing on the edge of the map. This cruise is cold, remote, and unforgettable. An expedition where silence becomes the soundtrack and the horizon never ends. Dubai to Singapore, the futuristic megacities route, the route that shocks people most. In one journey, you step through multiple versions of tomorrow. Dubai, Mumbai, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, Singapore. At night, ports glow neon on glassy harbors. By day, you explore spiraling skyscrapers, sky parks, and Aussie-run transit. In Dubai, you sail past the Palm, a man-made constellation on the sea. In Mumbai, historic terminals meet fintech hubs. Kuala Lumpur stitches jungle into steel. Bangkok's riverfront hums with elevated rails, and Singapore's super trees pulse like living circuits. On board, many ships offer robotic bartenders mixing signature drinks from your taste profile, AI personal assistants that plan port days, book shows, and optimize queues, smart cabins auto-tuning light, temperature, and curtains to your circadian rhythm, VR port previews that map neighborhoods and highlight must-see angles for sunrise and night shots. Sea days become futurist labs, coding workshops, drone photography classes, and sustainability talks on desalination and waste to energy. You thread the Straits of Malacca under a sky freckled with ships, then arrive beneath Singapore's glowing gardens by the bay, where the night show feels like a sci-fi overture. It's less like a cruise and more like time travel stitched together by sea, a moving window into what cities might become. The Alaska Glacier Passage, 2026 upgraded route. Alaska always delivered drama. In 2026, it levels up. New glass sky domes keep panoramic views even during storms. Heated handrails and wind-sheltered terraces let you stay outside as the ship threads narrow fjords where cliffs tower like stone cathedrals. Ancient blue glaciers radiate an inner glow, and bergy bits ping softly against the hull like wind chimes. Passengers soak in outdoor thermal pools as ice flows drift by, moments you'll never forget. Humpbacks bubble net feeding, then breaching in slow motion at twilight. The deep crack roar of a calving glacier rolling through your chest. Sunrise through misty fjords, clouds lifting like stage curtains off emerald walls. The legendary Hubbard Glacier, a shimmering blue fortress alive and shifting. Upgraded tenders bring you close to tidewater faces when safe, while onboard rangers narrate the geology. Valleys carved by a mile of moving ice, forest reclaiming rock in measured centuries. If nature had a greatest hits album, this route is the full playthrough, with an encore at every headland. The Mediterranean Royal Capitals Tour, the classic for history lovers, reimagined for 2026. One loop connects Rome, Athens, Istanbul, Barcelona, Dubrovnik. New immersive ACER overlays fold the past into your present view. Raise your phone and the forum rises around you. Tap a marker and hear chariots thunder down invisible stones. See the Byzantine walls of Constantinople ghosted over modern Istanbul. Watch the Parthenon's original paint bloom across weathered marble. Between ports, olive oil tastings on deck, flamenco pop-ups at sail away, and late arrivals when citadels glow like lanterns. Shore days move from mosaics to markets, to Mediterranean swims. Nights pivot to tapas, mezes, and baklava under warm air. The real luxury here is continuity. Food, culture, beaches, architecture, and centuries of stories, without ever packing and unpacking. The sea is your suitcase, your window, a changing museum. The South Pacific Hidden Paradise Loop. If paradise had coordinates, they'd be here. French Polynesia, Fiji, Samoa, and uninhabited Motus too small for maps. White sand crescents, turquoise lagoons, coral gardens, palm-topped islets. A postcard reel that never ends. In 2026, ships anchor farther from reefs with dynamic positioning to protect coral, and tender rides skim over neon fish like you're flying. This region adds live feed underwater drone safaris beamed to cabin TVs and cinema screens. Stargazing decks with Polynesian wayfinding, learning to read ocean swells and star paths. Overwater dining on floating platforms as torchlight trembles on ink blue water. Days stretch slow, paddle over gardens of staghorn coral, drift in water the color of melted gems. Listen to drums thrum across the cove at dusk. Because many stops are remote, landings feel like discovery. Footprints erased by the next tide, horizons empty except for your ship resting like a moon. It's elemental and hushed, designed for travelers who want the world turned down to a whisper. The Norwegian Fjord, waterfall kingdom route, some of Earth's most dramatic coastlines, now even deeper. 2026 tech lets ships slip quietly into narrow, previously tricky fjords. Electric propulsion hums like a sigh. Low wake modes preserve mirror-flat reflections. Sail between 1,000-meter cliffs, past snow-tipped peaks, and beneath waterfalls that pour from hanging valleys straight into green glass water. Geiranger Fjord is the crown jewel. Morning fog drifts like silk while sunbeams ignite the Seven Sisters Falls and rainbows lace the spray. Farther in, Narroy Fjord narrows to a corridor where farms cling to impossible ledges. The upgrade adds Eco-Electric Fjord, transits for near-silent gliding, panoramic outdoor elevators on select ships to rise above the rail for photo lines without elbows, on-deck blankets and locally sourced cinnamon buns for slow coffee sail-bys. It's peaceful and overwhelming at once, a cathedral carved by ice and time with the ship as your moving pew. The Antarctic Moonlight Expedition. The final route is the most remote and the most unreal. New nav systems permit safe sailing during Antarctic moonlit hours, revealing night scenes few humans have witnessed. Ice fields glowing silver to the horizon. Neon blue glacier faces shining under a cold, watchful moon. Penguin colonies mirrored on water so still it looks solid. When conditions align, whales breach through bioluminescent swirls, sketching luminous calligraphy across the sea. On landings, you hear the continent, a hum of wind and ice, punctuated by distant cracks that sound like the world exhaling. You'll cross the Drake Passage, sometimes a polished table, sometimes an orchestra of waves, a rite of passage whispered about in sailors' bars. Stabilizers tame the worst of it, and on clear nights the Southern Cross tilts above your wake. Few journeys feel this untouched, this silent, this powerful. A frontier distilled into light, ice, and awe. You leave with more questions than you brought, and that's the point. Practical upgrades you'll feel in 2026, quick hits. Quieter, cleaner engines. Hybrid/electric cuts vibration and fuel smell on deck. Bigger windows, more glass, sky domes, observation lounges, wraparound promenades. Smarter stabilization, fewer lost days, more time watching the horizon instead of the ceiling. Better tendering, faster, safer, reef-friendly shore access. Onboard science, citizen science labs, lectures, live wildlife tracking on stateroom TVs. Conclusion, final hook. So, which route would you choose for 2026? A futuristic megacity odyssey, a frozen Arctic expedition, or a hidden island paradise? Drop your pick in the comments, because your choice says a lot about the kind of traveler you are.